How do you get to a point where you've got more clients than you need, people wanting to work with you and you haven't got capacity, and it puts you in the great position of being able to go, I can pick who I work with. I can choose how much I charge. How do you get there? Well, for years and years and years, I was in the place where I struggled with sales, struggled with having that flow of clients. And so I had this kind of up and down uh, problem, feast and famine, as they call it. And as soon as I'd have a good month, I think, oh, I could expand, I could do this, I could do that. And then the next month, basically, all of those gains would wipe itself out. How did I get out of, without flogging myself, how did I get out of that situation? Well, I want to tell you about a piece of advice I was given that really changed everything around for me in the way I think. And it was, Dean, you haven't built the infrastructure to actually support the consistency you want. You are the infrastructure. So what I was doing is day to day, I was trying to hunt and find new business because I had short-term pressures, financial pressures. I wasn't broke, but it was tight. And so I was basically in short-term mode, and everything was resting on me, converting in the moment. I was the infrastructure. And I was stuck there for years. Most of my 20s into my mid-30s, I was stuck there and couldn't scale beyond me, basically. So how did I get out of that? Well, I had to actually unpick and break down what I wanted. The goal I wanted was clients wanting to work with me, clients prepared to pay more, clients who I could turn down if I didn't want the work. So I had to think about what were the things, the dominoes that had to happen for me to get there. And then how do I build things that can repeat to get there? Like what's the repeatable daily actions that basically get me there? So I broke them down into 5 things. So the first one is expert positioning. Now, this is just more than just branding and logos. This is about going, let's build the business around demand that's already there, and then build the expert positioning to make me different to everybody else, but also known for solving one particular problem. I talk about this as the 5 ones. One problem, one audience, one offer, one message, one process. Once I dialed that in and figured that out, what I was doing there, and I checked that there was ongoing sustained demand for the problem I solved, I actually really could dial in my expertise. And instead of trying to be known as Dean Marketing Guru, Dean went, I'm going to be known as the social selling person. I'm going to be known as that. And that allowed me to really cut through, being known for solving one problem and building my expert positioning around that problem. So I become the go-to person. If you've got that problem, I become the go-to person. So I built that expert positioning, not a coach, not anything like that. I become known for one specific problem. So I'm a specialist. Next, and this was really tricky because my mind wanted to stay open to opportunities. When you've been in feast and famine, you don't want to say no to an opportunity. And if you've been in feast and famine for a long time, you actually feel like it's hardwired into you to not want to, shut a door to an opportunity. If you've lived, I grew up in a working class family. We didn't have a lot of money, didn't have any nice big brands or anything like that. You are hardwired to go, I can't shut off an opportunity. But think about it. Think about the most sought after experts. They have more opportunity than they know what to do with, and most of it they turn down. The people who are desperate and broke take every opportunity. See the difference? So I needed to use my presence online to pre-sell for the problem I solved, for the offer I was selling, the one thing. I had to dial in my entire presence for that one thing, which is scary. It's terrifying because what if, and this is where our minds go wild, what if somebody needs a problem solved that I can solve, but I've not mentioned, I've not talked about, and I miss that opportunity? So what we do is we invent these straw man hypothetical scenarios that we might lose out on and hedge our activity and how we show up for that base, on that basis that there might be this imaginary scenario that comes our way, instead of going, I want this. And so I had to lock down all my presence and focus on one thing. And actually, for about 5 years, I stopped using some of the socials. And some of my socials were ghost towns for 5 years because I went all in on one thing and made my presence all about that one thing, that 5 wants. That meant the right people coming with that problem saw me as the exact right person. Like, you specialize in that problem I specifically solve. And people will pay a lot of money for an expert in their problem versus a generalist who might be able to solve the problem. Think about it. If you position yourself online as a generalist and you get people coming to you for specific problems, you might think that's great. But actually what it is they're coming to you as a generalist because they think you might be cheaper. The people who go to specialists want the best. The people who go to generalists can't afford a specialist. So position yourself as a specialist online, not just in your head, not just in your brand documents. Go all in on it. Right? Your brand presence online should repel people. And this is not a popular message, because if you look at what people tell you to do to grow online, they tell you appeal to a wider audience, go broad and then niche down. And I'm like the opposite. Go narrow. Because in my case, I only need 50 people in the next year, 50 people in the next year to make $1 million of revenue. 50 people. I don't need to go viral. I just need to resonate with exactly the right people. So think about it like that. Your pre-selling presence, its only job is to build trust and confidence and your reputation and your expertise for that problem. Next, third, demand creating content. And this again is tough because our human psychology is very fragile. Our animal brain is very fragile, and we want the applause of the masses. But actually, if you look at all of the people who've broke through online, they were prepared to tolerate being unknown but relevant to specific people for a long time. So this strategy here that I'm talking about, demand creating content, is not going to make you world famous, but it will make you famous with the right people. There's experts in the world right now that charge $15,000 an hour, and you don't know their name. You don't even know who they are. But they're the people who are very, very specialized, and they are known by the right people. And so your demand creating content should be for exactly the right people. It needs to make and help your buyers feel understood. It needs to help the buyers make sense of their situation right now. And importantly, it needs to make your ideal clients feel uncomfortable in their comfort zone. Your content has to agitate people to take action. It has to be uncomfortable enough that it's naming their situation. But it also has to speak to the situation they want, the state they want. Where do they want to be? So you've got to make them feel and see that future through your content. Yes, credibility. Yes, testimonials. Yes, some how-to content, because that all builds trust. But ultimately, they've got to see and feel their better future through your content. It's hard to do that if you don't focus on a person. It's hard to do that if you don't focus on a problem. It's hard to do that if you don't focus on a core message that resonates. Then we need an intent bridge. This is number 4. This is the mechanism by which we turn attention into intention. So attention is people know who you are, they've heard of you, they've seen some of your content. How do we get that into some intention? And that's where you use things like lead magnets, events. I go live, I generated 125,000 leads from going live every week for 6 years. I just go live, I get leads. It's newsletters, it's email lists, getting people into your ecosystem where they go more in depth. But you get them to take a step that shows signal. They're waving their hands saying, that's me. I want that. And that's the intent bridge. And there's no one size fits all here. You can do lives, you can do newsletter, you can do outreach, you can do conversion content. There's loads of different ways you can do it, but you need those things in your toolkit ready, in your infrastructure, ready to convert attention into intention. And most people don't know how to do this. They create things that help people, but it doesn't actually move them closer to a sale. And your profile and all of the stuff you should have been doing should have been helping people understand that. So now we've got the intention. We've captured the intent. Now what we've got to do is convert that intent. And number 5 is the conversion system. So I got the intent. I've got to get those people to consider purchasing, to take another step. And that's really now about how do I move those people into a discovery call? But importantly, how do I make sure I only get the right people in the discovery call? And that's about friction. That's about creating friction. That's about creating a limited amount of people, a limited amount of supply. That's why you need to sell high ticket. So you don't need loads and loads of customers. So you can literally go, there's not enough of me to go around. And you can do it ethically. And you also need them to qualify themselves before they get to that call. Now, as part of this conversion system, you also need to basically make sure that the momentum is sustained through that journey from I'm booking a call to I'm going on the call. And that's about things that you do in between that to, again, pre-sell. This is what I do. This is how I approach it. On the call, this is what I'm going to do. So between the call booking and the call happening, you can't just go, let's wait and see. You can't just go, well, I'll send reminders. You've got to actually set up that call and say, hey, it's great to be chatting on the call. This is what we're going to go through. This is what we're going to talk about. My program, you can read up about it here. If it's a fit on the call, we can move forward. If it's not a fit, no worries. We'll have a conversation and we'll leave it at that. But what you're doing is helping people see what that step is they're going to take. So there's no shock. And if they feel uncomfortable about that, they can take an off ramp. So they're not wasting my time and they're not wasting their time. And this is how you build that demand. Some would say the flow, clients on demand, wait lists, whatever you want to call it. But what it means is you've got more clients, more leads than you need, which means feast and famine does not happen. And I thought I'd share this today because I meet a lot of people who are not building that infrastructure and not learning how to create that demand. Because, and actually, I'll say, struggle to create that demand because they've never fixed their expert positioning. They've never solved that front end issue. And so bad positioning, that 5 whys piece, basically trickles down into their presence. So their presence is unclear. So then it trickles into their content and their message is wishy-washy. Then when they try to create that intent bridge, turn the attention into intention, they can't do it because it's vague. They don't really understand what they're doing. And then they have no conversion system. So often when I'm working with people, we actually end up going, we need to spend a lot of time at the beginning because that is what makes the whole thing work. You can't build an intent bridge. You can't build that without knowing what you want the intent in. You can't pre-sell them if you can't define what you're selling. And it's so funny that I say all this and you'll go, yeah. Go look at your profile. Go look at your presence. Does it all join up? Is it all creating and culminating in people buying your product or service or package or program? And in most cases, it isn't joined up. And what prompted me to do this is I've started to reactivate my other socials. And I've started to, I've populated them just to keep them alive. But I've obviously had them off for a number of years, not doing very much. And I'm about to reactivate them. And I've gone through this process again myself and gone, Dean, it's time you reassess everything, redo everything, revamp everything. And it's like, I'm excited. Even though I know this and I've done this with my LinkedIn, I'm doing this now with my Instagram, my TikTok, and my YouTube and all of those others. I'm excited about it because I know the impact it's going to have. So it kind of prompted me to go, I'm going to share this with you guys because if you do this, it will be incredible for you. But you just got to get out of that. I'm only thinking one or two steps in front of myself. Because when you're thinking like that, you will bypass the deep work that helps you do this. The deep work that helps you go, where's the money? Where's the money in my market? And how do I position myself as the expert to receive it? Most people are just eager to dive in and go, we'll figure everything else as we go. It doesn't work that way. You've got to do the deep work first, the positioning piece, the message piece, the 5 whys, because that really unlocks everything. Spills out into your presence, spills out into your content, spills out into your intent bridges, spills out into your conversion system. So I'm excited, as you probably tell, I'm quite upbeat today. But I wanted to share this with you guys. So just a reminder what they are: expert positioning, pre-selling presence, demand creating content, intent bridge, and conversion system. You get those in place, my God. I'm excited for you guys putting this in place. I don't know whether you can tell. I'm excited that if you put this in place, what's going to happen for you. So it changed me. It changed me from a solopreneur to a CEO. I went from me doing everything to a team of 30 people. I don't even know some of our clients. Some of our clients have never met me. That's how powerful this thing is.